3. All right, so whenever you're putting together your book, prep that you need your papers, you need a couple materials. Paper prep is the first thing. You're gonna take all the papers that you have, fold them in half, do it one at a time for a nice, sharp, clean crease, okay? That you want them to lay together nicely like so. And if you try and fold them all at once, they're just gonna slip and slide all over the place. And you're going to be very sad. All right, things that you need for actual sewing. You need something for your awl to punch into that doesn't damage the table. Little pieces of wood work really well. This is the awl. It's the pokey hole thing maker. You need a needle. Some are curved, some are straight. Really doesn't matter as long as the end is pointy. You need some string. The string itself, the piece that you need to cut, is about twice the length of the short side of the papers, so that should be plenty. And we have also hole punch templates, which are just a piece of paper that we measured out where the holes need to go. Pretty simple. All right, so I'm using some binder clips on the ends of my paper. You can see all the papers are underneath here. Just to keep everything nice and flat and in line. If they slide around on you a lot, then you're gonna poke these holes and then immediately lose them. It's very frustrating. All right, so this awl, very sharp and pointy. It can hurt if you stab yourself a little bit, though you got to be careful because that really fine point, eventually, if you're wiggling around too much, you can see that it will break. And then this one is not as useful. I can still poke some holes, just not very many. It's very annoying to deal with. So whenever you're stabbing, make sure you're going straight down and straight up. There's going to be 2 different hand positions that work best for this, either the really kindergarten stab, or the less kindergarten, more finessing stab. Both of them work. It's just going to be whatever you find most comfortable. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to have these on top of your wood, and you're going to find that little hole, and you're going to stab straight down. And go until you can feel it go into the wood. You usually can feel it pretty well, and then just pull it straight back out. Find your next spot, do the same thing. We repeat this 5 times or so, and then we will reinforce by going through without the wood. Reinforcing these holes really only double checks to make sure that we get all the way through to the back. We can see that we did here, but you can see that we didn't have very big holes on this side, and we can get very wide right here. So whenever I reinforce, I'm just going to come in through the front and wiggle and make sure I get pretty far through. This gives me a nice wide hole for my needle to go through, so I don't have to fuss with it nearly as much. It just makes my life easier when trying to put the needle through. All right, so now that I reinforced all the holes, fixed my little mess up and whatnot, I took off the template one side at a time so I didn't have anything wiggle around. I have my needle threaded right here. There's a couple different ways to thread a needle, but any way works. And I'm going to start right here in the middle. The pattern is in and out really easy, and then doubling back whenever you're coming to the ends. So I'm going to start by going through this middle hole. You'll note that there's no end here that has a knot on it, so I'm just going to hold it with my thumb right there. And then I can go in either direction, but I'm just going to go down the next hole in line. So that one goes down there. And down the next hole in the line. Now that I'm at the end, I'm going to double back. So I'm going to come back this way, down this hole, back down through my center hole, back down this hole, back up through this hole. This is where I'm starting to get, to the end of my string. So I gotta be a little bit looser, but not by much. And again, I'm at the end, so I'm doubling back, going down through this last hole. Come on, wiggle, there we go. And there we go. Now I have just these 2 ends. I tie them together in a basic double knot, and we have ourselves our little book. Voila. Voila.